Very nice, thank you. My name is Matt Evans, I'm the deputy lead for listening area. And I will be doing the best I can to see this agenda that just got changed like 2 seconds ago. But what I want to do first is I want to introduce you to my good friend and my leader, Jason Bryan. He's the lead for this year, and he has done a great deal of work and to bring this event together so that we can pull together the many different groups to support the scouts and scout leaders that are here over the next 2 weeks. So, Jason.
So one of the things that I discovered with the World Jamboree was that it's really tough to know who can help you when you don't know who can help you. You're just there on your own. Right. We're also famous for Zoom meeting, and I have to stay quick. That's going to be tough. Thank you, Alan. And so what I hope to do was this time around bring the folks together who have overlap. And the 4 groups represented here today have a lot of overlap, but yet we don't have quite the same vision, quite the same scope. And I found that in preparing for this, there was a lot for me to learn, and I still don't know it all when it comes to what some of these other departments do. So I'm hoping that with just a couple of speakers coming up, that each of the 4 departments represented will give a brief message about the mission, their scope, and perhaps also introduce their key leadership so that we can start with that. And we're using just alphabetical order, so the chaplains will be represented first.
Thank you, Jason, and thanks to all of you for being here with us this afternoon. And it's really, for many jamborees, and by the way, this is the 13th national jamboree. We've always had the presence of commissioners. We've always had the presence of chaplains. But we've seen the growing need for mental health issues. So with mental health, and obviously it become more and more part of how we administer to our participants here. And then as we looked at the world and the world model, we now welcome this year to that model. So Jason, why we need to figure out who we are, how we work together. And so each of our subcamps has chaplains assigned to them. There are 3 chaplains assigned to every subcamp, particularly those that have contingent units. I have to break this up and say contingent troops. We used to just only troops. Now we're contingent units. And so they are there to minister to the religious, spiritual, and emotional well-being of Jamboree participants. And one of the things about chaplaincy is that they are outreaching. They go visit as commissioners go visit for logistical needs. Chaplains go visit the unit leaders for emotional needs, spiritual needs. We find out what the needs are, and then we respond to those and try to help wherever we can with pastoral care and other counseling techniques to help resolve situations and make the participants experience in the Jamboree so much more delightful, rather than having emotional challenges kind of interrupt their entire life. Yes.
Who are you?
Well, I'm sorry.
Maybe everybody else knows.
You're I'm sorry. And I just get too presumptive about it. It's not important who I am, except that I am the spokesperson for chaplain. I am Ted's training. I am the lead for chaplains. I'm the chief support guy for all of our chaplains out there. I have a wonderful team helping me in the headquarters. We are we're very top light, I guess you would say. Alan Morrison appreciates being called light. Alan is my deputy here at Piggott. We have a small table here at Piggott where we have Patrick Bradley, a seminarian, the representative to help us think about the other side of this aspect. And so, but I'm pleased and honored to serve with you here. And so as chaplains do that out there, we chaplains, as you'll know, and think about this, only while the commissioners minister to the physical needs and they help with the physical needs of the unit or participants, chaplains not only minister to those emotional, spiritual needs of units participants, but also to those adult needs and also to the staff. And so, commissioner, when you see a fellow staff member or some staff is obviously having a challenge, or something is happening back home, or something is bothering them, and everybody is bigger involved, fully engaged with the Jamboree. It's a great time to say, hey, if you go and talk to, Chaplain Joe, or you're going to talk to chaplain so-and-so, you know, share with him. And let us know of those needs, and chaplains then can help respond to those. So that's what we do. You'll find a mixture of faith groups. We probably have 8 different significant major faith groups within our chaplaincy corps, and that's without counting the different flavor of Baptists. I mean, you get another half a dozen if you look at the different flavors of Baptists that are out there. And I can get away with saying that since I are one. But so we have, and so not only do we take care of specific needs within our subcampus, that's our primary duty, but also then we know within our chaplaincy group, if you have a young person or an adult that you're person, a listening your person is talking with someone, listening to someone, and obviously has a need, and it's specific to their faith background, and there's no chaplain in their subcamp with that faith background, those chaplains in that subcamp know how to find somebody on the chaplaincy team who is. And we will dispatch them and get them and provide services wherever we need to do. So that's a quick overview about what chaplaincy does. Chaplaincy has been around in our country ever since our country was born. My 6th great grandfather served as a chaplain in the Revolutionary Army on the colonist side, by the way, in that little thing. And so it's been around a long time. It comes out of the British sense of chaplain, and I won't go through the history of where it even got that name, but it's there to care for those spiritual and emotional needs. And again, we'll talk more about that with our chaplain specifically, but commissioners, listening ears, and somebody else say, and listening ears, we chaplains need to be a resource to you. And we'll talk, we'll make sure our chaplains understand that role that they can play. But please feel free to call on them wherever they can. When they are not busy doing chaplain specific stuff, they're to be of a general help. Ministry of presence in our subcamp environments, trying to help out in any way they can. We're the ones who are on call also. Each of our medical centers, they'll have a phone number anytime day or night. They have a medical patient injury or any other need that pops up. There's a phone number that the head nurse or somebody can call and say, hey, we need a chaplain, and a chaplain responds. And so we're kind of on call around the clock for those types of the needs in any way that we can. And I know that's a very quick overview, but that's what we need to do right now as keep moving. Do I take time for a question or two, Jason? I got a minute. Any question about the general role of chaplains, particularly for commissioners and listed here and those kind of folks? Great, and thank you again for being here for us to figure all this out together.
One over there. I want to introduce Mayor from the commissioners.
If you are serving as a commissioner, please. Bless. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to talk commissioner speak for a moment, but I'm going to talk contemporary commissioner speak, and we're going to find out whether we're getting the message right, getting it easy to understand. Commissioners decided that we needed to simplify how we go about doing what we do. And one of the things we did to do that was to say, we're going to stop writing our own mission, we're going to stop writing our own mission, and our own approach to things. We're going to say this, our mission is the mission of the USA. Our vision is the vision of the USA. And we exist for what we use. For several years, we've been taking time to write down what we thought our priorities should be as missions. And that changed dramatically this year because we had a lot of feedback from council commissioners and different commissioners, and what the messages that come back was make it simple. So it's more simple than they expected. Because now we say the missions have only 3 priorities. The first one is being the single best resource. Everybody in this room fits under that umbrella in one way or another. The concept is that we, through our actions, enable the leaders to see us as being their single best resource. Commissioners have got a water portfolio there because they caught most of the scouting listed here in the chambers. A little bit different, but being the best resource is key. We believe that programs what attracts, retains youth, volunteers, and scouting. So our student priority is delivering great, safe programs. And working with the leaders to do that. It's time to grow this movement. And our third priority is enabling significant security. But not a lot of people have actually gone and walking around today wearing a film shirt. And my response has been to the trading post PTC 3 weeks ago, and so I was slamming on the table. And my wife said, "Don't you think it's a little late to be celebrating that?" And I said, "No, this is like a t-shirt." The last thing about the service, we spent a couple of years ago trying to figure out what the culture should be. And we decided that the 3 components, one was speed part. And a lot of people wonder what is the heart, we use the term. It's program, work to make sure that we deliver great programs, because it is programming, I'm trying to say it's. Second part is global relationships built on mutual respect and trust. And having those kinds of relationships with new leaders work effectively with them. And the third of our institutions commissioners during this Jamboree have the opportunity to bring new resources to the unit leaders and to enable that resource to be a part of selling and to change lives and skill. And that's really what commissioners do, working with this year and working with champions. So looking forward to the opportunity. Thank you very much.
So you met me already. I'm Jason O'Brien. I'm heading up Listening Ear. Listening Ear came from the world of scouting. And it was intended to be a safe haven, a place that any participant, any attendee at a scouting event can seek refuge, or a place just to sit, a place for support, a place to be heard, as the name is Listening Ear. And I'm not able to do this story on Listening Ear history, but the World Jamboree this year, the fifth one where there was a presence. I'm relatively new to Jamboree scouting, and I got to come here when the summit opened. And I don't want to take too much away from mental health, but at that first Jamboree here in 2013, there were 4. And now there's this Jamboree, there's 24 Listening Ear, and that's only one piece of the mental health picture. Scouting has been sharing with us how they want to be able to meet the needs of the participants, not just the physical needs that you might see with the medical department. And they've always the longstanding recognition that the unit leaders need that support that the commission can provide, and the chaplains are there to address in a lot of ways so much overlap in Listening Ear together in the World Jamboree. We did find that we don't need to be doing 2 services twice, but rather there's those that are found as the chaplains move through, and then we also have a way for people to find their way to us. So in each sub camp, we will find a purple Listening Ear feather with a couple of cardboards joined together in a very creative way, so that participants in any manner can find their way in and receive some care and, more importantly, direction. And that's what we're hoping to do by bringing everyone together, so we know which direction to send folks. Who's the best person to help with the situation that arises? The stations that we have will be open 4 to 10 each night at the Jamboree, which seems to be a common crashing time, and you've had all your fun and you come home. And that's when some things seem to show up, so those tents will be open until the needs are met, and folks get to be where they need to be. When the stations are closed, we can sign in to let people know a single number to call, that then we would be able to respond more directly, whatever we necessary. I think that would be enough, unless there's any questions about what this thing here. Yes. How are the participants going to know? How do participants know about us? There's been some sharing in terms of the Nancy's kind of name of that document, the constituent leaders guide. So a lot of times it is just by seeing that we exist. So walking by, we tend to have very open fronts, open and welcoming, and maybe instead of playing into who knows what. And kids are curious, they want to know, what's that? You know, and this is not only programming, this is in our residence area. So what's on? So maybe you might work it out. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Is there a listing here, markboard in the program areas?
There are no listing your stations in the program areas this time. That's all.
Thank you, Jason. My name is Brian Hisson. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor supervisor from North Carolina, originally from West Virginia. So I want to welcome all of you to my home state. And hope you have a great almost 2 weeks. Some of us almost 3 weeks here. So another part of the mental health team, and commissioners and chaplains, you are part of the mental health team. We want you to understand and embrace that. But another part, in addition to listing here, is base camp mental health. And we have 3 base camp mental health clinics. And I'll mention the coordinators for each of those. We have Stuart Johnson in Charlotte. And we have Mark Walker in Delta, and he's out closing the tents, but we have Cheryl Griffin here representing Delta. And then we have Larry Kubiak over at Alpha Bravo. And so base camp mental health clinics are staffed 24/7 by licensed mental health clinicians who are temporarily licensed in the state of West Virginia through the Jamboree process and based on West Virginia state law. We're embedded in the base camp medical clinics, and a lot of our business will come from folks coming into base camp medical because they have a stomach ache. They're in for the 3rd time because of dehydration. Well, the behavior is telling us that something else is going on. We see that. Or they'll come in and they're talking to the doctor about a conflict with their teammate or their scout leader. And so we have the mental health professionals available to connect with those participants, adults and youth, and begin to provide some mental health triage. We also will receive folks who just walk into the mental health center, who will be right next to the base camp medical center. And we will receive folks from any other resource listing here, chaplains, commission. If you have somebody who is struggling emotionally, or you're starting to hear words that tell you, wait a minute, this is outside of my scope, then think about base camp mental health as kind of a triage point for you to go to. And so we're kind of the middle tier in the mental health picture. We think of listing here as tier 1. That's where folks come in for the reasons that Jason just described. And then if there's a mental health issue, a relationship, a social issue, a bullying issue especially, then we want to ask you to get in touch with your base camp mental health resource. You should have the numbers to the base camp medical clinics. And because we're on the 24/7 rotating schedule, the best way to reach us would be to call the base camp medical clinic. And then one of our mental health clinicians can get on the line and help you think through and talk through what to do next, which will likely be get that person over to base camp mental health. And we will also have to coordinate that through medical transportation if necessary. Another simple way is do some walking and talking therapy. And you know, 2 folks walk with that scout, or 1 folks walk with that adult, walk them over to our location. So once we've done our piece, our mission is to help folks through triage, stabilization, and support. We want to get those folks back safely into the program, into Jamboree, into having fun as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. If the presentation is so complex and so concerning that we don't think we can do that, then we're going to refer them to Jamboree Mental Health. Now, that is right next door to Delta Base Camp Mental Health, and right next door to the Jamboree Health Center, and right on the other side of this building. But at any rate, we will be able then, whether it's going to be Charlie, Alpha Bravo, or Delta Base Camp Mental Health, we'll be able to refer that person to the mental health center where we have additional clinicians that can provide a higher level of support. Coordinate with physicians if we have a prescription medication issue. Even go to the point of if there is an issue that is so concerning and troubling or acute that removal from the event temporarily to hospitalization is needed, then that clinic can help that happen, make that happen. If there is a behavioral issue that is such that it's violating others' safety to the point that that person can be removed for disciplinary or for safety reasons, then that will be referred to the folks in charge of contingents, to contingent management to make those decisions and make that happen if necessary. That is the last, worst, least thing we want to do. What we want to do is support folks in having a safe, enjoyable event with whatever professional and lay assistance, chaplaincy assistance, commissioning assistance we can use. And so we have a team of about 24 clinicians in the 3 basic mental health facilities and the Jamboree Health Center, Jamboree Mental Health Center. And we are just willing and waiting and eager to serve and help you all do your job well to keep our participants safe. And, you know, I think it was World Jamboree, one of the things we talked about is we wanted folks to, you know, take home memories, mud, patches, and new friendship, right? So we want, that's what we want everybody to go home with memories and mud, some patches and some new friendships, and that's all. We wanted to have a great time, and we are very happy to be a part of your team. Larry is coming in, Larry could be, I'm sorry, Mark Walker, Delta, basically, raise your hand. He was on a mission of mercy, zipping up tents while it was raining out there. Thank you. And why did he do that? Because a scout is helpful. That's why we're here. That's what we want to do. Let us be helpful to you. And we look forward to you being helpful to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
In the event, God forbid, if there's somebody in one of those more extreme situations and they need to be transported to a higher level of mental health care, is there a security component, people that know how to help with that, get access?
So the question is, if a person is in a position where they need to be transported to a higher level of mental health care, how do we manage that from a safety and security standpoint? There are a lot of ways that we can do that. Medical transport will make the wheels roll for that, right? And if needed, we can have one of our clinicians ride with that person up to Jamboree Health Center, right? And then they will assess, and if it requires off-site transportation, then that's handled by the local folks. You'll see the FLAs go in camp and we'll move patients around, things not leave camp. They cannot go and transport out unless we do public road. But Gym Care, the local ambulance service, and some other of the local county ambulance services, fire department ambulance services will move patients to facilities offsite as needed. So we have contingency plans in place. Unfortunately, we know we will use them, and we will, we'll do our best to get the care to folks and get them where they need higher level of care if we can. Is that good? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Brian. We've introduced the 4 different groups that are here, and we're glad you're all here. Jason has given each of you 4x6 card. Hopefully you've written some things on there as he directed you to a few minutes ago. And I'm going to turn this over to Jason and say, here, have fun with this.
Thank you. All right, I'll give you the instructions and in the actual conducting of this exercise of this one. We get to move and we get to be clustered according to our sub-camp areas. So what we'll be doing is we'll be coming together in our sub-camp grouping areas. We've got some pages that we're going to hand out. This will also be, if there's a little bit of movement around, you guys can stand up if somebody has to get to the restrooms, they're right in the rear. You can take care of that and come out with a sign to be able to link up into your group. And what we'd like to do is have someone in and the leader of the group just selects the cards and put them in the pile. And then you randomly take a card off the pile. Each person receives a card, you got to take the cards to two people. And then right. What we'd like to do before you put your card in the pile is just introduce yourself. Tell what's on your card. Sorry, I forgot that. So then you put your cards into the center. And then after everybody's had a chance to tell who they are, then you'll draw a random card. It's your job to find the person it belongs to. Oh. But you'll be able to ask for help. You can phone a friend. You just ask the dealer, the card not jump up right away. Thank you. Okay. So with that, we're going to try starting with Alpha Bravo and then work our way around the room clockwise with the letters of the subcamps. And then as we see the end of the grouping size, we might have to move a little bit to be able to hear each other in this room. The weather may allow us to move it into the.
We're going to stop you online at this point, so we'll see you later.
Once you
Thank you.
had a chance to go through everybody's